It's now 7 o'clock. We will now call the Bennington Town Meeting to order for 2024. One housekeeping note as we get started. Typically, we have interpreters for those who need them for hearing purposes, and we were unable to procure those this year. Were there any other interpreters that we were running? I know we typically have sign language, but do we?
That's the only two.
Okay.
And we do require two for the meeting, and unfortunately, one of the ones we had scheduled had to cancel.
Okay, so if you're wondering where are the sign interpreters, that's why there are no interpreters, so sincere apologies for those who are affected. As we always do, we now start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a departing Select Board member, Gary Corey, who's going to lead us in that.
Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gary.
Welcome.
I'll now read the beginning of the warning as a preamble to the business that we will transact tonight. The Town of Bennington 2024 Annual Town Meeting reads as follows. The residents of the Town of Bennington qualified by law to vote in town meeting are hereby notified and warned to meet in said town on Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. to transact the business to be done from the floor. If you are a resident of the Town of Bennington, intend to be present at the meeting, and are hearing impaired, arrangements will be made for a sign interpreter to be present at this meeting. As we just stated, we could not accommodate that this year. For necessary arrangements, please contact Stuart A. Hurd, Town Manager at the Bennington Town Offices, 205 South Street, Bennington, Vermont, not later than February 16, 2024. Following the completion of such business tonight, the meeting will stand adjourned until Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at the Bennington Fire Facility on River Street using the Lincoln Street entrance. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow for the election of officers and voting on all ballot articles specified. Those on the checklist to vote in the village of North Bennington shall vote for the election of officers and on all ballot articles at the North Bennington Village Office on Main Street, which is also the North Bennington train station, in North Bennington. The Bennington Fire Facility above mentioned is hereby established as the central polling place for those on the checklist to vote in said Bennington. Residents of Bennington and North Bennington may register to vote at the Bennington Town Clerk's Office, 205 South Street in Bennington, Vermont. Eligible residents registering on Election Day must do so at the polling place where they will cast their town meeting ballot. We will go through the rest of the warning as it arises in tonight's schedule. The first item on tonight's agenda is Article 1, the town report, to hear the report of the town officers, and as part of that, Jonah Spivak and Shannon Barsati will be giving a presentation.
That's always concerning, right, when the screen goes blank? I do direct your attention. We'll be doing the presentation from the lectern, but of course, on the screen, you'll see associated images with our presentation. I'd like to thank you for joining us for our 262nd annual town meeting, a proud tradition that we share with just 5 other states, and the tradition continues tomorrow with Town Voting Day. On behalf of the Town of Bennington, we present to you this report of the town officers. My name is Jonah Spivak. I'm the Communications Coordinator for the Town of Bennington, and with me is Shannon Barsati, Director of Community Development. Shannon.
Thanks, Jonah. First, I want to share our town vision. Bennington is a welcoming, engaged, inclusive, and resilient community where everyone, regardless of identity, shares in our vitality and benefits from an outstanding quality of life. Our town motto is serving people through teamwork.
Bennington has a rich history and is unique in being the first town chartered as part of the New Hampshire grants. Chartered in 1749 but not settled until 1761, Samuel Robinson first got a look at what would become Bennington while on his way to fight in the French and Indian War. He returned as a leader of the first group of settlers. Our town is named after the colonial governor of New Hampshire, who signed the charter for our town back in 1749, despite the fact that these same lands were also claimed by New York. That whole controversy would take many years in a Revolutionary War to sort out, but we'll save that story for another day. Currently, we are the 5th largest town in Vermont.
Now we'd like to share some highlights from the past year in our various town departments, and we'll start with the Bennington Police Department. Through the commitment of the BPD and law enforcement partners, Bennington experienced a decrease in violent crimes involving firearms in 2023. Additionally, the Bennington Police Department responded to 12,903 calls for service. They expanded community policing efforts with CPARB, the Community Policing Advisory Review Board. They also hired 4 new police officers and 2 community resource specialists to identify resources related to homelessness and mental health, and a crisis clinician in collaboration with United Counseling Service. Each year, the BPD works with dozens of area youth in their very popular New Experience Summer Camp. They participated in Project Alliance, a coalition of social service agencies working to reduce harm in Bennington, and they organized National Night Out and the Backpack Giveaway Program.
Like our police department, our fire department provides an essential service to our community. This year, they responded to 303 calls for service, ranging from fires to vehicle crashes, police and medical assists, and various miscellaneous calls. The fire department has also been the keepers of our Bennington Battle Day Parade, this year being its 59th year doing so. They provide fire prevention training for schools, youth, and senior citizens, a total of 125 students in 2023. They are also active in community events such as National Night Out and, of course, Bennington Battle Day Weekend. Our fire department is made up of all volunteers, and they are currently seeking members. If you are interested, please consider becoming a volunteer firefighter. Speak to an active member of the department or give them a call at the fire department.
Our Department of Public Works, starting with the Highway Department, is responsible for maintaining all roads, curbs, sidewalks, culverts, and vegetation along the roads. They paved and widened the downtown Riverwalk this year and added an extension to connect the pathway to the new rail trail. They installed new curbing, sidewalk, and pavement on County Street, cleaned and vacuumed all storm catch basins with a new in-house vacuum truck, painted 60 miles of yellow lines and white fog lines with a new in-house street painter, added an in-house mechanic to reduce downtime on vehicles and save money, and cleaned out miles of drainage swales and ditches in the rural areas of town.
Moving on to our water department, Bennington's plentiful water has contributed to our early industrial development, is a key component of our healthy community, and is a revenue generator as we sell excess water from the Morgan Spring to bottled water companies. A 4-person crew plus a working foreman make up our water department. They're responsible for supplying clean drinking water to approximately 15,000 users through 92 miles of water mains and 4,400 water connections. A multi-year federally funded effort is in its final stages to replace all the lead water service lines in our town. If you have received a notice that your property needs to be tested, please do respond. Testing and replacement of water lines, if lead is found, is 100% free under this program, but it won't be in the future once this program ends. Approximately 1.73 million gallons of water per day are treated and delivered from our water treatment facility. What looks like a plain metal building on the outside, inside contains a sophisticated operation where our team is constantly balancing environmental factors, pH, and chemicals to provide 635 million gallons of water to our community each year. The cost for flat rate water for a single-family home in Bennington is about $52 a month. That's about $30 less than the average monthly cost in the United States. The last piece of the water treatment of the water system is our sewer system and wastewater treatment facility. In 2023, 60 manholes were rebuilt, 35,435 feet of sewer lines were cleaned, 715 feet of sewer lines were replaced, and most importantly, 1.59 billion gallons of wastewater was treated. The cost for sewer in Bennington for a single-family home is $51 a month. That's about $12 less per month than the average monthly cost in the United States. It's worth remembering that Bennington has an enormous infrastructure that is vital to our residents and that is mostly unseen, but must never be forgotten.
In 2023, the Planning and Permitting Department continued to work with consultants on several bike and pedestrian projects that serve as the backbone for a bike ped network throughout Bennington. The rail trail from Bennington Station to Northside Drive was completed and has been very popular and active with people walking and cycling every day. A new temporary bridge was installed on the Ninja Path. The Planning Department is also assisting the Planning Commission on an update to the town plan with a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and providing oversight to the Development Review Board for major development projects such as the new Chipotle, Starbucks, Heritage Family Credit Union building, new Little League training facility, and Hoffman Car Wash. In my role as Community Development Director, I help to bring in federal and state grant funds for economic and community development projects, and I manage the town's revolving loan program and marketing efforts. This year, I've been busy with planning and grant writing for the Ben High redevelopment in partnership with local housing developer Hill Resources, and have helped to secure an additional $1.5 million in grant funds for the project. I've also helped to secure $200,000 from the state's Downtown Transportation Fund for the Walloomsac Riverwalk improvements, over $1 million in Vermont Community Development Program funding for recovery housing projects in partnership with Shires Housing, $2.2 million in congressionally directed funding for workforce development in the local food sector, and distributed $260,000 in town loan funds for small business development and housing improvements.
My role as the town communications coordinator is first and foremost to share information about the activities the town is doing on behalf of our community. This includes using all available media channels to get information out to the public, as well as fulfilling any public records requests. Responsibilities include managing the town's website, assisting in social media, creating press releases, and developing graphics, signage, and materials as needed, as well as assisting with projects, events, and outreach throughout the town. Our 2023 community survey, 60% of respondents identified Facebook as their primary source of town information. Since I was hired, our Facebook posts have had a reach of 216,376 and 41,540 visits to our Facebook page. The position of communications coordinator is still relatively new. I welcome thoughts and feedback on how I could be doing a better job.
Our Buildings and Grounds Department is always hard at work, and this year they assisted with the new playground installation at Willow Park. They manage the town's use of the former Southern Vermont College fields. They maintain all parks and recreation sites, as well as town buildings. They built a new temporary bridge across Furnace Brook on the Ninja Trail and installed new town welcome signs and the beautiful downtown holiday decorations.
A new department in our town is information technology, which is responsible for all technology, connectivity, and IT functions for the town of Bennington. They support all departments, including police, fire, water, filtration, sewer, as well as integrations with the state of Vermont and other providers. With one full-time person and one part-time person, they have been very busy on upgrading systems throughout the town and improving cybersecurity. They're also working on disaster recovery planning to ensure minimal downtime for town functions in the case of a natural disaster or public emergency. Almost all town services have some IT components necessary for it to function. And with all the dangers of cybersecurity and hacking, this is really a critical and timely infrastructure investment.
The town maintains all parks and recreations facilities and works in partnership with the YMCA to provide increased programs and opportunities for recreation for all ages. This past summer, the summer youth camp grew to serve over 350 children with an average of 150 campers each week. The YMCA partnered with the SVSU to offer summer recovery educational programs for the third summer. The Y also partnered with the Village School of North Bennington and SVSU to continue after-school programming that grew to serve over 140 children. Youth programs offered included soccer, baseball, playgroups, swim lessons, strength and conditioning, teen leadership, birthday pool parties, basketball, school break camps, and kids' night out. Popular classes for adults include water exercise and aerobics, yoga, silver sneakers, indoor walking, and strength and balance. Social programs for adults and seniors grew in partnership with the Town Senior Center and Meals on Wheels program.
Our town clerk's office continues a tradition going back to the founding of our town, namely being the caretakers of our town's records, including the original signed charter for Bennington that dates back to 1749. You can see Cassie holding it there in the picture. This past year, they completed a 2-year project digitizing our town land records going back 40 years. This is now available through the town website, or you can stop by to their office where we have computer workstations available. They're also responsible for everything related to elections, from early voting ballots to handling and organizing voting day polling stations. The town offices, this is at the heart of town government. It's located at 205 South Street in what was originally the Henry G. Root Homestead, built in 1844. The house was donated to the town for municipal use by his descendants in 1920. It also includes the town clerk's office, listers and assessor's office, health officer, zoning and code enforcement, finance and collections, HR, town management and support staff, as well as Shannon and I. It's also where we do our 4th of July bell ringing and ceremonies honoring the USS Bennington.
And finally, our town is more than just the town departments and select board. We're very grateful to the dozens of residents who participate by serving on our local boards and commissions. These include the Select Board, the Community Policing Advisory Review Board, Development Review Board, Energy Committee, Historic Preservation Commission, Bennington Housing Authority, Board of Listers, Planning Commission, Board of Abatement, and Board of Civil Authority. Are you someone who wants to be more involved in the community? Joining a local board is another way that you as a resident can be directly involved in our town and help serve the community as a whole.
To tell you everything the town has been doing would literally take hours upon hours. We were told we had 15 minutes, so we thank you very much, and we have completed it in less than 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonah and Shannon. This is the portion of the meeting where you have heard the report. If there are questions about the town report that is published or what you just saw in this presentation, this is the time to ask those questions. And if you have questions, please raise your hand. I will identify you, and I'll ask you to identify yourself and come to the microphone to ask your questions. Is there anybody that would like to be recognized at this time? Well, that must have been a good report. No questions. Article number 2 for tonight's meeting is select board compensation to determine what compensation shall be paid to select board members over the next year. Stu, I should know this. Is it currently $1,300 or $1,400?
$1,400 a year.
It's $1,400 a year. Is there any discussion on that matter, or is there a motion to establish the next year's salary at $1,400 per year? Charlie Jingo has made a motion to pay the select board members $1,400 a year for their service for the next year. Is there any second?
Second.
Can you identify yourself?
Asher.
Oh, Asher. I'm sorry, I couldn't recognize you back there. Asher Edelson has seconded that. Is there any questions, comments, or conversation on that matter? Hearing none, if you are in favor of this motion, you will signify by saying aye. If you are opposed, you will signify by saying nay. All those in favor of paying the select board $1,400 for the next fiscal year, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Next, Article 3, Other Business. To transact such other proper business when met, I underscore the word proper. If there are topics brought up that are not germane, I will call you out of order. Is there anybody that would like to be recognized to speak, not on the ballot articles, because we're going to get to those presentations in a moment, so if you're here to present, you will be coming up in the program, but is there anybody here that would like to be recognized to speak on other proper business? Okay. Moving on. The business will be transacted by ballot tomorrow, beginning at 7 a.m. and continuing until 7 p.m. at the polling places we discussed earlier. There will be a select board election. You will be electing 2 select board members who reside in the town of Bennington for a 3-year term each. And there will be an election for the town clerk. The town clerk shall reside in the town, and he or she shall be elected for a term of the next 3 years. I believe there's only one person nominated for that. So, next, you will have the following articles to vote on. Article 1, shall the town appropriate for the next fiscal year, July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, the total sum of $16,927,920, consisting of the following: $5,070,990 for the laying out, maintaining, and repairing of the highways and bridges of the town, and $11,856,930 for the payment of the following: any indebtedness not otherwise specifically provided for, interest on indebtedness, legally authorized state and county taxes, the prosecution and defense of common rights and interests of the inhabitants of the town, and for other incidental expenses. The proposed budget will include $25,000 for fire equipment, $5,000 for fire facilities, $10,000 for parking improvements, $15,000 for technology improvements, $13,000 for pool maintenance, $6,000 for tennis court maintenance, $5,000 for public works facilities, $428,900 for healthcare reserve and workers' compensation insurance, $100,000 for bridges, and $2,000 for well maintenance, any unexpended portion of which will be reserved to subsequent years for that purpose. And Article number 2 tomorrow, which will be voted on, is shall the town of Bennington convey the .61 acres at 124 Pleasant Street, also known as the Senior Center Building, to Ben High LLC in partial consideration for the acquisition of the real estate at 650 Main Street, the former Ben High, or for people of my generation, the junior high school. We will now get to the portion of the meeting where we will invite up members of the nonprofit groups that are seeking funding from the taxpayers. Article 3 tomorrow is the following question: shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $5,000 for Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse? Everybody I call forward will have up to 3 minutes to speak about their organization, and we recognize Jenna Caslin, who is the Executive Director of Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse.
Good evening. I'm Jenna Caslin. I'm the Executive Director of the Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse. We're better known for our DBA, the Bennington County Child Advocacy Center. We provide crucial supports and services for individuals who have reported sexual abuse, as well as children who have experienced physical abuse resulting in serious physical harm. Some of the services that we provide are forensic interviewing, coordinated case management, and advocacy and accompaniment. We work with these individuals from disclosure through disposition of their case. And in addition to providing a response to abuse reports, we also provide an array of prevention education throughout the county. So I want to be quick and just say thank you for the support in previous years, and I hope you'll consider voting yes for Bennington County Association Against Child Abuse again this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Next, Article 4 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $5,000 for Project Against Violent Encounters? And we now recognize Lindsay Brillian, who is the Executive Director of Project Against Violent Encounters.
Good evening. My name is Lindsay Brillian, and I'm here as a representative of PAVE. I'm their Executive Director. PAVE, or as some of you might know us by our longer name, Project Against Violent Encounters, has been providing services for over 40 years to those impacted by intimate partner and sexual violence in Bennington County. We continue to strive to maintain our core services, and sorry, I don't know, I just completely lost my train of thought, so let me start over. We continue to strive to support survivors in healing and envisioning lives for themselves that is free from violence. We believe that everyone deserves a life where they can experience healthy love, and that means that love that builds them up instead of harming them. And we do that by promoting the services that we have for the last 40 years, which includes our emergency shelter, our 24/7 crisis hotline, our legal advocacy, and also our supervised visitation and safe exchange. In the last year, we fielded over 500 calls to our hotline, provided over 4,000 nights of shelter at our emergency shelter, and supported survivors in obtaining over 50 protection orders. In the coming year, we are continuing to work hard to support those core services, but also find new ways for survivors to envision lives free from violence and find paths to healing. Thank you, and thank you to the community for continuing to support our work.
Thank you, Lindsay. Article 5 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $5,500 for Green Mountain Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, also known as Green Mountain RSVP. And speaking tonight is Kaylee Derby, who is their volunteer coordinator.
Hello. Green Mountain Retired and Senior Volunteer Program is an AmeriCorps senior program that engages people 55 and older to volunteer in local nonprofits to improve life, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement. Green Mountain RSVP is focused on addressing social isolation, healthy aging, and food insecurity for older community members. Currently, we have 119 volunteers who live in Bennington County. With that, we have 7 Bone Builder class locations, which Green Mountain RSVP supports these classes by providing certification classes, training, and insurance for the leaders, weights for the class members, and community awareness for class sites. The residents in Bennington County benefit from Green Mountain RSVP volunteers' work in the AARP tax aid program, the delivery of nutritious meals through Meals on Wheels, companionship services in partnership with Senior Solutions, and the Third Thursday Reader Virtual Book Club in partnership with the Bennington Free Library. Volunteers also support the community by donating their time at monthly American Red Cross blood drives, as well as assisting at 6 local libraries. Our newest partnership with Neighbor to Neighbor will have Green Mountain RSVP volunteers to provide friendly visits, social support, and transportation. Your town's funds help us continue supporting and developing programs for people over 55 who wish to volunteer. Federal funds from the AmeriCorps Senior Program cover our staff and administrative costs. Along with Green Mountain RSVP serving Bennington County, we also serve Windham and Windsor counties. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylee. Article 6 tomorrow reads as follows. Shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $6,750 for Brock Community Action in southwestern Vermont? Speaking tonight for Brock is Thomas Donahue, their Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and listening to these other nonprofits and that really robust town presentation, a lot of great work is going on here, so I'm proud to be part of it. And again, my name is Tom Donahue, and I represent Brock Community Action. We're located at 332 Orchard Road, right here in Bennington, and we are Article 6 on the town ballot. Brock Community Action has a two-pronged approach to alleviating poverty in the Bennington region, and one of those is crisis assistance, and the other is providing a path forward, a sustainable path forward for people. So some of the highlights of the program activity that we've conducted in the last year, as well as some of the dollars invested, are as follows. One of the things we love to do is work very closely with Molly Stark Elementary School and actually all of the family engagement specialists at SVSU. And last year we assisted many of their students and parents with, as an example, warm winter weather clothing to students and parents alike. But we also provided and continue to provide each year now a $1,000 prepaid laundromat card to SVSU for families in need of cleaning their clothes. Just some innovative ways that we're starting to help in different than the usual that you might anticipate. We also, of course, run the food shelf at 332 Orchard Road, and we're open 5 days a week. We have that special senior hour on Friday afternoons, and just counting Bennington residents alone, so you know where that's going, we served 957 Bennington residents just last year, and the numbers continue to grow literally every day recently. We continue to provide hundreds of free COVID test kits through the food shelf, so people in need don't have the burden of purchasing them for themselves or their families. And each spring, our food shelf provides starter plants to families so that they can actually grow their own fresh vegetables all summer and saving them money. In addition to feeding, heating and housing are two other critical services we provide. And in Bennington County last year, we provided $120,000 in crisis fuel assistance. All of the funds are paid directly to local businesses and utilities. Through our Housing Opportunity Program, we provided over $225,000 in rent, security deposits, and rental arrearage that was paid directly to landlords and prevented 91 households from eviction, and we rehoused 49 households that had been homeless into permanent housing. We are responsible for implementing the state of Vermont's weatherization program in this county. We completed over $370,000 in free home weatherization just last year, just in the town of Bennington, to residents. This includes emergency furnace repair and replacement and oil tank repair and replacement too. As a critical focus of our efforts at Brock Community Action, we have positioned our staff, I should say, to provide application assistance, including 3 Squares applications and farm-to-family coupons, where the money is spent all locally with local farmers. And we provide free state and federal tax preparation. Additionally, we assisted over 250 Bennington residents with financial and budget counseling and credit repair. Our organization does much more than I can say in 3 minutes, so I encourage you to visit us on the web at brock.org or follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, occasionally on Cat TV. And we have frequent updates and new initiatives. We employ people too, and our job opportunities can be found listed there as well. And with the increased costs of goods and services straining family budgets, our assistance continues to be critically important to Bennington residents. We sincerely value the support of the people of Bennington, and we look forward to continuing our services to those in need in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Article 7 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $7,500 for Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging Incorporated? Speaking tonight for Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging Incorporated is Ron Hatchie? I'm sure I'm butchering that, so please introduce yourself.
It's both, actually. It's Ron Hashey. I'm a resident of Bennington, and I'm on the Board of Trustees of the Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging. And as you may know, the council provides around a dozen programs and services for the seniors here in Bennington. And I just would like to start off by saying, you know, if one of the seniors needs help, where is the first place they should go? Well, you might want to send them to the helpline that the council has as a good first step. Those trained council employees will direct them to where they need to go for services that the council provides. And some of you may know that the Meals on Wheels program is a very highly visible program that the council sponsors, and I think there were 25,000 plus meals last year served to Bennington residents. And that's a combination of meals that are delivered by drivers all over Bennington, as well as the cafe that's in the senior center building that the Meals on Wheels operates in. And that's a great social opportunity for the seniors to sit and socialize with the other seniors, which is definitely a need for many age groups, actually, not just seniors. So when you call the helpline, as I was saying, more than likely you'll be assigned a case manager, and those are the people that really coordinate all the services within the agency as well as within the community for the seniors. So if they're having issues with transportation, can't get to their medical appointments, food insecurity, legal services, and a number of other programs, that's a good place to start. And those case managers sit down with them in their home, one-on-one, and kind of outline a plan for those seniors. And some of the other services that are very useful for seniors is companionship programs and mental health services. So there's a variety of services that are geared towards the senior population. And I would encourage you to vote with me tomorrow, yes, on the ballot initiative for $7,500 for the Council on Aging. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Article 8 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $10,000 for the Tutorial Center? And speaking tonight for the Tutorial Center is their Executive Director, Sean Marie Aller.
Hello. Thank you for having us up tonight, and thank you to the Bennington voters who have supported us in the past years. Tutorial Center is in its 51st or 52nd year, well, over 50 years. And last fiscal year, we had over 90 Bennington residents ages 16 to 65 working towards their high school diploma or a GED. 10 received their GED and 5 received a high school diploma from Mount Anthony and 1 from Arlington. We are moving to Main Street, and that project has been ongoing for the last 14 months, and we look forward to being on Main Street in an empty space and with 7,000 square feet to offer different programs and continue with our classes. We're also currently this year we have 75 students for the first half of the year, and then an additional 35 students who are learning English as a second language from the many new Americans who are in our area. We work very closely with many of the agencies in town, and while our main mission is education, we know that there are often barriers to education, so we work closely with all the different state agencies and local agencies, and we would love your support for another year, and thank you.
Thank you, Sean Marie. Article 9, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $11,000 for Bennington Project Independence? Speaking tonight for Bennington Project Independence is Linda Putney.
Good evening. My name is Linda Putney. I'm on the board of Bennington Project Independence. I'm here to tell you that we are so fortunate to have such an extraordinary adult day service program in Bennington County for our frail elder residents and our younger disabled adults. I am not just saying this. I know it firsthand as a former caregiver for my mother who attended BPI when it was on Pleasant Street. BPI, by the way, just celebrated its 15th anniversary since it moved into its beautiful and functional facility on Harwood Hill. I would like to share with you tonight some short reviews from our annual in-house evaluation. The first is from a current BPI member. BPI is my safe place. It is my place to be myself and not up in my room by myself. Thank you to everyone I meet here and for the kindness and support I need to support my life and my mind. The next is from a current caregiver. BPI is wonderful. It allows me to be worry-free while I'm working. I really, really, really do appreciate all of you. Here's another. Thank you for everything you all do for my mom. It means the world to us. Another. Thank you for helping turn his life around. Another. I wouldn't be able to do it without BPI. It has been a godsend. It's the only free time I have. And here is one from a former caregiver. I can't really say enough about the staff at BPI. To a person, they were competent, caring, clever, and oh so flexible. Your existence in this community is critical and greatly appreciated. So on that note, I'll close and ask voters to continue to support BPI as they have in the past. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Article 10 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $12,500 for the Bennington Free Clinic. Speaking tonight for the Bennington Free Clinic is Charlie Jingo.
Thank you. Good evening. I am Charlie Jingo. I'm here to speak about the Free Clinic, and it's also known as the Dr. G. Richard Dundas Free Clinic. I chair the board of Greater Bennington Community Services, and the clinic is one of our programs. The clinic has been in operation now for 15 years, and we've seen thousands of patients during that time. We're located over at 121 Depot Street in the GBIX building. The clinic serves people who don't have health insurance because they can't afford it. And it also serves people who are very uninsured with very high deductibles. And recently, we've begun seeing people who can't find a primary care physician in the community. The clinic provides free primary medical care and care coordination, and when it's appropriate, we refer to other providers in the community for ongoing services. In 2023, the clinic's doctors and nurses saw 224 unique individuals, over 540 appointments for those individuals. About 2/3 of our patients come from Bennington and North Bennington. We have an amazing team of volunteers, 10 doctors, 1 physician's assistant, and 5 nurses. The clinic also does some other things. We help our patients get enrolled in one of Vermont's health insurance programs. And in 2023, we did 458 consultations helping people get enrolled in a health insurance program. In 2023, our doctors also completed full physicals and health assessments for 38 Afghani and Ukrainian and other country refugees and asylum seekers. We screen all of our patients for substance use and abuse, for depression and other mental health issues, and smoking. And we then do brief interventions and referrals for treatment to other providers in the community. All female patients are screened for breast, cervical, and cardiovascular disease. And then we check to see if they're eligible for our women's health education and wellness program called You First. All patients are also screened for urgent oral health needs and referred to local providers. We conduct flu and COVID vaccine clinics around the community in the fall and throughout the year. Our town allocation is used to help pay for lab, x-ray, diagnostic tests, imaging, and other outpatient services at the local hospital. It also helps pay for certain dental services and prescriptions that our patients need and can't afford. And the allocation from the town is used to help us pay for our medical and dental supplies and equipment. So the free clinic is a busy place, and we ask the voters of the town of Bennington to support us again this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Article 11 reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $15,000 for the Sunrise Family Resource Center? And speaking tonight for Sunrise is Peter Lawrence, the vice chair of their board.
Hello, I'm Peter Lawrence. I'm a resident of Bennington, and I'm on the board of Sunrise Family Resource Center. And I'm asking the people of Bennington to support Sunrise on the ballot tomorrow. For over 55 years, Sunrise has provided significant benefits to the Bennington community. In the last fiscal year, Sunrise has provided services in Bennington to over 2,600 adults and also to over 2,600 children. Sunrise has a wide range of programs that benefit Bennington families. Our programs include playgroups, parent education classes, parent support groups, family cooking nights, a diaper bank, and our food pantry, which never turns anyone away. Sunrise gives all parents giving birth at Southwestern Vermont Medical Center a welcome baby bag, which includes an offer to receive a home visit from a Sunrise parent educator. Sunrise has 3 housing case managers and a housing navigator. Sunrise is a strong partner, working with other Bennington and state agencies addressing housing instabilities and homelessness. A program that I'm particularly proud of is our efforts to help people in Bennington with transportation needs. One aspect of this is providing vehicles to mothers so they can get to jobs, get to school, take their children to health care and to daycare. Involved in this program, the staff person who runs this, Alicia Gully, screens mothers who apply for this to make sure that they're appropriate and that receiving a vehicle will be a successful benefit to their family. Also, Larry Cole, who is a board member, spends hours looking for affordable used vehicles and then making sure that they're in good shape for the mothers who will then drive them. So again, I want to ask you for your support in the ballot tomorrow. We do have on the table in the back our annual report and a little flyer about a event that's coming up the end of March. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Article 12 tomorrow reads, shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $21,600 for VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region? Speaking tonight for VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region is Jessica Fredette, who is their Human Resources Officer.
Slight change. I'm Gina Grove. I am the Annual Fund and Development Manager for the VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region. I apologize, Jessica was not able to make it this evening. First, I want to say thank you very much to everyone in front of me and everyone in this room, as well as all of the Bennington voters for supporting the VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region. We greatly appreciate your support, and it is very much needed and critical to our success and how we serve our patients. 2023 was another challenging year for the VNA, as is the case with many of the home health agencies across the country. Our agency lost $2.3 million from operations last year. Even with this loss, we are weathering the storm better than some of our other Vermont agencies. Last year, VNA of Vermont and New Hampshire had to make the difficult decision to reduce their service area in southeastern Vermont. There has been some confusion throughout the state with community members and referral sources due to what we believe confusing, and not to anyone's fault, the closeness in names. VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region, and VNA of Vermont and New Hampshire. Please rest assured that our agency, VNA and Hospice of the Southwest Region, is providing our full array of services to our entire service area and is accepting all referrals. We make great use of all of our resources, including town funding, to ensure our patients receive the very best care, no matter the circumstances. Unfortunately, financial challenges are not going away. Medicare intends to cut our reimbursement over the next few years by almost 8%, and even though the state has eliminated our Medicaid provider tax due to years of underfunding, we still lose money on every Medicaid program. Our budget for fiscal year 2024 is projecting a $1.8 million operating deficit because we are almost entirely dependent upon Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement. 92% of our revenue is Medicare and Medicaid. Town funding is critical to our organization. In 2022, the VNA provided over 127,000 visits to 3,043 patients throughout Rutland and Bennington counties. In Bennington, we provided 635 individuals 25,807 visits in their homes. By providing these services in the home, we save these residents money. The average cost of one overnight stay in a hospital is now $14,900. The average daily cost of a home health provider is $92, and the daily nursing home cost is $261. However, Medicare's decisions to continue to cut our reimbursement is counterintuitive to this fact. Financial challenges are just one of the issues facing home health and the VNA HSR. I'm sure many of you have seen the stories in the media regarding violence in hospitals and towards hospital workers. Home health has staff safety challenges as well. Our staff go into unsafe situations every day, including homes and places identified as potential drug activity areas, hotels, and those experiencing homelessness camps. And under the current Vermont designation rules, we are required to. We cannot say no, we always say yes. We must continue to invest in the safety measures and precautions for our staff to ensure they are able to escape harm if need be. Town funds help us to do this. It's an element of home health that is not often discussed but needs to be because it is our reality. Not only is our staff at risk for their safety, they are also seeing medically sicker patients. We are seeing patients with significant mental health and substance use issues. 51% of our patients have a diagnosed underlying mental health or substance use issue. These patients tend to be less compliant with their plan of care, which makes the length of our visits longer and potentially require more visits, which in turn increases our costs. For Medicare, our largest payer, we are paid episodically, meaning regardless of whether we do 5 visits or 15 visits in a 30-day period, we are paid the same amount. Hospitals are relying on home health care for their patients more than they ever have in the past. Many Vermont hospitals are finding themselves at capacity, and in order to free up beds, they count on the skill and experience of home health clinicians to ensure continuity of care for the critical needs of the patients they are discharging. Where hospitals only have a finite number of beds for patients, there is no limit to the number of patients a home health agency can care for, and with your support, we can continue to care for them all. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Gina. Article 13 tomorrow reads as follows. Shall the voters increase the fiscal year 2025 general fund by the sum of $25,000 for the Bennington County Coalition for the Homeless? Speaking for the Bennington County Coalition for the Homeless is Roxanne Corelli, who is their interim executive director.
Yes, good evening. I am Roxanne Corelli, the interim executive director at Bennington County Coalition for the Homeless. On behalf of BCCH, we are extremely grateful for the support we continue to receive from the people of Bennington. We have been helping families and individuals break the cycle of homelessness and gain permanent housing for almost 30 years. We currently operate 2 year-round emergency shelters, one for families and the other for individuals. Our family shelter can house 9 families at a time, while our single shelter has the capacity to house up to 16. While the pandemic presented many challenges with our dedicated staff, we were able to remain open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to aid those in need. At the Bennington County Coalition for the Homeless, we are committed to providing more than just a safe place to sleep. In addition to shelter, we are a program designed to assist our guests with daily access to case management that focuses on enriching life skills and obtaining the tools necessary to sustain permanent housing and remain independent. We also serve many others experiencing homelessness through drop-in services. Our services range from the use of our kitchen, laundry, and bathrooms, showers, to providing someone with toiletries, blankets, clothing, and food that they can take with them. We are excited to announce that we also now have an outreach program. We have hired a community outreach coordinator that will work hand in hand with our staff, community partners, and the unhoused outreach committee. This individual will assist those that are not at shelter with much-needed case management. This also means that those who stop into our individual shelter are now also given the opportunity to meet with a case manager, apply for services, and receive housing and employment assistance, all of which is made possible through the support from our community. As you know, we have our wonderful Office of Economic Opportunity as our main funder. However, the funding from them is very strict. Without the additional funding from our town and from donations, etc., would be unable to help this many individuals and families. Thank you again for your continued support, and we respectfully ask that you vote yes in support of our article on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. Are there any members of the audience that have any comments or questions about any of the articles that you either heard about or will vote on tomorrow? Hearing none and seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting until tomorrow morning? There's a motion up front. There's a second in several places. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. No. Oh, the ayes have it. The ayes have it. We are adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Oh, my God.